Hi, I'm Kevin Quigley. Welcome to Tarot Off the Cuff. Jaymi Elford is a consummate tarot reader. She is practical and down to earth. She thinks about tarot, reading techniques, and the cards non-stop.
Hi everybody, Jaymi Elford here with another Tarot Off the Cuff reading for you. I am the author of The Triple Goddess Tarot and Tarot Inspired Life. I'm using the Triple Goddess Tarot and I hope this reading is going to be enlightening for you. Today's card is the Six of Swords. Now, in this deck, we have a lot of duality going on, which I love. We have a boat with a mother figure and a child looking back into a dark cave with the bright lights on the horizon coming out. And this card kind of means to me of letting go of the things that no longer serve you, especially the stuff in your mind, because to me, swords is related to the element of air, and air is thoughts and ideas and things that go on in our left brain head. And so letting that stuff go so that you can move forward into better ideas. So in this card, that is kind of illustrated with this dark cave that these people are emerging from, yet they're still looking back because sometimes it's hard to let go, and they're entering into the light, which is a metaphor for going into the newness, traveling, getting clarity from other lighter sources. An interesting story I have about this card is that a couple of months after it came out in 2017, I was at the Reader Studio in New York. And at one point, Wald Amberstone, who is one of the founders of the Tarot School, came out and wanted to see my deck. So he's flipping through the cards, just kind of looking at them. And he pulls out this card, upside down, this card, as well as a couple other cards. And he stares at them for a bit, goes, do you see something in here? And I said, yep. A lot of the time, especially with that card, and in my life, there's a lot of dualities at play. A lot of going from the dark to the light and the light to the dark. And this is one of those cards that I find does have that effect, at least on me when I'm looking at multiple different decks, where there is that duality at play. The desire to go from a negative past emotion to something more joyful and happy, or a past situation that you just want to let go to a more better or improved situation, or even in kind of like decluttering, where you want to let go of the old so that you can bring in the new fresh stuff that really fits your personality better. All of this can be played within the Six of Swords. In traditional Rider-Waite-Smith decks, you'll see this very, very subtly at play as well, where you look at the water and there's smooth water where the ferryman is taking these two people. You can't see their faces in their boat either, even though because their backs are facing towards us, the reader, the audience. But they are looking towards that brighter future. And in a corner of the card, you get a little snippet of dark or rough waters. And that's the idea of letting go in that deck. So I love this card in that effect, where it's really about finding that balance. To me, the number 6 has always represented heart matters. I'm not sure why, but there's this really nice symmetry when you look at the 6s across the Tarot Minors, which the Six of Swords is part of, that gives you this hint of doing something that's good for your heart, as opposed to what's right for the brain or anything else external in your world. And the Six of Swords to me is that one of the kindler, gentler sword cards in the deck, where you get this sense of peace, of things got a little hazy for a bit there in the 3, 4, and 5 of Swords, and now it's time for a pause, a relax, a deep breath, a slowness, where you can let that space, all those things that might have distracted you or got you excited and going up here, and just let it go. It's not necessarily a meditation. This is more of a chance to be active in the participation of figuring out what your next steps are. The colors in the card in the Triple Goddess deck are very, very vivid, very stark. You've got this really big darkness in the front, but moving towards the past or towards the future, it's definitely vibrant, more alive. And that's the things that keep us going through all sorts of situations. It doesn't matter what you're steeped in. If you are steeped in dark times, that's okay, because there is light out there when you are ready and are able to process things. The Six of Swords also has that aspect of travel. In some cards, it's easier because the artists or the designers actually shaped the boats in a certain way that allow you to get the idea of one-way movement. I noticed something while picking up this card today that it's kind of ambiguous. You can't really tell whether or not the people are actually traveling to a dark place for the betterment or the light for the betterment. My original intent in this card was for it to go from the darkness to the light. Because for me and my philosophy, I'm always seeking the light. I'm always looking for those brighter days, those happier places of moment. Maybe it's because I live in Portland, Oregon, and we get a lot of rain. And right now we've got this wonderful sun, and I'm enjoying that vitamin D. Or maybe it's just something subconsciously I put in. But Franco chose the boat shape. It's kind of ambiguous. So it gives you that flexibility to decide whether or not the people in the boat in this card are coming or going. Are they going to use their logistical side to deal with those negative or darker places that they've been in? Or have they already processed that information? Which again, tying it all back into the heart center. So that now they're ready to let it go or say goodbye to it and move on. And saying goodbye is hard. That's why the people in the boat, I wanted them to face back towards that dark kind of areas, because when you let go of something, whether it's a relationship, an idea, because again, this is the sword suit, we're talking about ideas and kind of your thought patterns here, it's hard to say goodbye to some of that. Programming our natural instinct to default to the patterns and the repetitions, the narratives and the scripts that we have built in on ourselves since childhood is so hard to let go. Hit me up sometime. I'd love to talk to you about it, because this is stuff I've been working on my entire life. And sometimes we have to face that. We have to look back as we let go to give that final confirmation of, you don't own me anymore. I can let you go. You might still be there in the darkness and the recesses of either the head or the situation, but it has no power over you. So while it is a challenging situation, it is something that is hard for many people to do, you can do it. You can let go. Another set of instructions that I usually see this card for is traveling. Like when I'm going to conferences or going on vacation, I like to invoke this card as kind of a talisman because of that journey, that movement. And again, the positivity of, I'm going to have a lot of good time. My mind is going to indulge and soak up all that new information, all those new sights. And I'm going to be in a place sometimes I might be familiar at, others it might be brand new, and I'm just jonesing and just wanting to see the new stuff. The culture changes. The art, the architecture of a place could really bring in some new needed input, especially if you felt stagnant. When water stagnates, it's kind of not a good thing. Sometimes in biology, you'll see stagnant water breeds mosquitoes or other insects, other undesirable critters, even though the natural ecosystem requires that stuff. Stagnation by itself isn't a bad thing, but when it's combined with longevity and just blandness, we crave. That's when we need to get out and move around. So sometimes the Six of Swords can also provide us with that opportunity to say, I'm stepping out. It's time for me to go. So sometimes in your readings, if you feel that you have been stagnant or your mind's just not doing what it needs to do to get some new input, pull out the Six of Swords or see what cards rely on either side of it. And that might give you a fresh input, some new insight. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.
Hey, this is Kevin.
Hi, this is Nooch.
Thanks for watching.
If you like what you saw, please hit a thumbs up and subscribe. You'll know when new ones are coming. And share with your friends.
We'll see you soon.